Hi, I'm Mai, co-founder and CTO at Hud. We developed a runtime code sensor that can be installed in seconds. It runs with your code in production, detects issues before they impact your business, and takes you directly to the root cause with the context needed to fix it. Let me show you just how simple it is to get started with Hud. One line of code, no agents, no configuration, or anything like that. Once you deploy to production, Hud starts monitoring your service. So now that I have Hud running, and suddenly I get this Slack message. You can see that there's an issue with an endpoint that started throwing errors after a deployment, but also that Hud shows you the root cause in the code, a specific function downstream from the endpoint that threw an exception. And the best part, no one had to configure anything for this alert to be sent. One click takes you directly to the problematic function in the code. From alert to root cause in one click, Hud shows you exactly where the issue is in your codebase. So we have the root cause function right in front of us, but to see Hud's real magic, let's activate the IDE extension. These headers above each function, which we call Hudders, show you live production behavior for each function. You can see how many flows it participates in, how often it is invoked, and its duration and error trends. If we click a Hudder, we can see the real behavior of this function in production. This is the actual call graph of the function. On the left are functions it's called from, and on the right, functions it calls. Red lines are those where unhandled exceptions are propagated. We can use it to navigate. And now we're at the caller function. We see that a downstream function threw an exception and it propagated upwards. But this is the function that is indeed the root cause that threw the original exception. We can also see the endpoints or message queues where this function runs and its actual behavior in the graph over time. We can also see the data on the web app for a wider analysis. Just click More Info. Here I have all the data about each function, so I don't have to be in the IDE if I want to look at things from a bird's eye view. But let's move to see the whole service. Here are all the functions in the service. I can easily look at the ones most invoked, the ones that take the longest or throw the most exceptions, but also those with the highest trend on either of those. For example, these are the functions that slowed down in the most significant way recently. I can go into this one, for example, and jump straight back to the IDE to continue my work. What we've seen here is production-aware development. And this is how Hud's runtime code sensor can allow you to know about production issues early on, take you directly to the root cause and the context needed to fix it, so you can focus on building with less context switches. And I really can't wait to see what happens when you feed this data into a code-generating LLM.